Semper Fi, motherfucker.
All right, do we have taglines?
We do. We have
my spider sense is tingling.
just two.
We do.
If you know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
I don't know.
This could be a tragic day.
Like, we always taglines never
Could be the end
have
of
been
Spider-Man.
as strong as I always
Thanksgiving
hoped
just
that they
got
would be on this show. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I guess we'll keep doing it.
yeah.
A year and a half later.
Yeah, exactly. First one. No one gets out alive. That's
Except
just
for
a
two
blatant.
people.
Yeah, it's a blatant lie.
Yeah.
Like we've seen the end of the movie now. Spoiler alert.
There's no post-credit scene where someone still managed to get out alive in
Right.
addition to the other two.
Yeah,
It's
there's
like,
there's no situation in which a post-credit scene shows that like, oh no, they will die too.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, the world's gonna end.
right? Nothing sets up for a sequel here to be like, yeah, well, we meant eventually.
Soon.
Second one, hell breaks loose.
It doesn't. Mars breaks loose.
Right. It's not the same monsters.
Attack
As-
from Mars? What was it? I just forgot.
Mars
that.
Attacks?
Mars Attacks.
Attack from Mars. Yeah.
Is that-
Do you have anything else to add here?
Nope.
Okay, then. With a budget of $60 million, a United States gross of $28 million, a worldwide gross of $15.8 million, for a total of $43.8 million, which is a financial bomb here on the show.
There's also like a critic's bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Like
We'll get to that in a second. With one arm dismemberment, one man ripping off his own ear, one man carving into himself, one head bit off of a rat, one monkey shot to death, one monster tongue jugular puncture, one monster trapped in a wall, one decapitation, one full autopsy, one electrocution, one death by fall, one man ripped through a floor grate, one monster's head blown off, one monster fully engulfed in flames, one monster blown to bits by a bomb, 3 men shot to death, and countless monsters shot to death, with 12 deaths in total. Nope, mark that, sorry, didn't count The Rock. Sorry, spoiler alert, that's 13 deaths in total, with a 5.2 on IMDb, a 34 Metascore, and a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 2005's Doom. There's no way to make that sound more like Doom. And
Let's drop some bombs.
BFG, big fucking gun. Semper Fi, motherfucker. They took my penis. They took my penis.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
This could be a tragic day. The people of New York could be the end of Spider-Man.
Thanksgiving just got fucked.
welcome to Bombs Away, the only podcast recorded inside a projection booth. My name is Jonathan Young. Joining me in the studio, as always, is...
Semper Fi, bitch! Jared Seifert.
I wish that's how they did it.
Semper Fi, bitch. And he like busted the glass. He like smacks him across the face. Gotcha. He had, I will say, like, it seemed like they wrote every single line for The Rock to be like a one-liner. Like, he's going to be remembered for this line.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, he's going to be remembered for this line.
What was the one
Big fucking gun.
yeah.
Like,
Big
he's-
fucking gun.
he
And
seems
then
like he's a really stupid
What was the other
person.
one? I'm not supposed to die.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to die. It's like, phew. Which I was like, wait, isn't he the main character? It took me that long to realize he was not the main character of this movie.
No, he is, but he isn't.
He's
It's
like-
this weird in between.
He's a red herring main character because the main
Yes.
character is actually Rosamund Pike and Keith Urban.
right.
Wait,
which
no, is it Keith Urban?
Carl.
No, that's Carl Urban.
Carl
Keith Urban, the country singer.
right, which is Bones from the 3 new Star Trek movies. That's what most people would know. him
God, that's
as,
why he's so hot.
right.
Everyone
also,
looks so beautiful in that movie,
but
or in the Star
also,
Trek movies.
nice try on trying to make Carl Urban an action star.
Yeah.
I guess in this movie
He's cute though.
And
he
then
had a weird jaw in this movie. He was very round in the jaw in this movie.
he doesn't exactly like. Time aged him and The Rock
in reverse.
But in
It was
weird
weird.
ways, right? Because The Rock is kind of small for The Rock that we know now. Like, The Rock now is kind of a parody of himself, I feel like. He's,
Oh, yeah.
like, physically a parody of
He
himself.
was afraid of the Doom video games.
He got nauseous, is what he said. But yeah, he The Rock in this is genuinely, like, he's muscular, but he's kind of just normal built, strong man.
Yeah.
And, like, he's not anything like I said, like we know now.
Well, this was like coming off of WWE
right.
and then going into movie world.
But I feel like in WWE, even in like, Do You Smell What the Rock Is Cooking times, like that, he was.
He was
it sounds
beefy.
like just a
Yeah.
show. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking times?
Tonight, beef tenderloin.
God, why wasn't that a show?
Netflix. Come at me. Like Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg got their cooking show, which
Right?
is amazing. Like, why can't we get Do You Smell What the Rock Is Cooking? It's Do You Smell What the Rock Is Cooking this time? And he has
Why
wrestling
is
guest
it
stars
this
as they
time?
cook.
Why
in it.
isn't it just
Because
do you
it's
smell what
it's
he's
a new
cooking?
ring. It's the kitchen ring, and so he brings in other like WWE
I think you
celebrities,
just
and they
keep it
cook
the
together.
same. You
No!
don't add. You don't change. You don't add to the catchphrase.
Yeah.
No, why?
You got it because you got to like let people know it's like 2.0. It's new. It's
well,
fresh. It's
If it was
in
new
your
and
face.
fresh, it's just like Queer Eye. You take away actually.
Do you
from the
smell what the
title.
Rock?
Do you smell the Rock?
Do you smell the Rock cooking?
Yeah, not what he's cooking. Just do you smell him cooking?
That'd be great.
If not, you're not watching the show.
But yeah, no, I think. But what I'm saying is, this is him coming off of WWE,
Right.
So he was super beefed up then, but then he's going into acting, so he's finding his acting body,
Right.
You know, like finding your adult body.
And then the Rock that we know now just made a parody of that.
Yeah,
Well, it's weird because
He was
remember,
this is him figuring
you
himself
actually
out.
just rewatched this recently, Mummy Returns. That's
Yes,
the body
but-
I remember of this
a
time.
little drunk on that one.
Yeah,
I did fall asleep before the Rock. No, I did see some of the Rock. Yeah, God, his hair in that was a bad wig.
yeah,
Yes, but
yeah.
he.
I don't know.
it
I'm
was-
just saying,
yeah,
like,
it was-
size-wise, either that or they filmed him to make sure that, like, when he does have his final fight sequence, that it didn't seem completely implausible that Carl Urban was going against The Rock. Maybe that's
I mean,
what they were
they
doing.
both had
Maybe
genetic stuff
you
going
know,
on.
like
in
they
them.
make Tom Cruise taller.
Yeah, they got to.
So, also starring in this movie is Rosamund Pike,
Ugh,
who
I love.
I just automatically suspect in any movie now because of Gone Girl. I won't
She's-
spoil Gone Girl.
Oh, I
but,
love her.
Like, it's just funny. Like, I just see her in anything, and
She-
I'm like, yeah, you're hiding something, aren't
she
you?
always has that acting way where she's like, "What do you mean? I'm Rosamund Pike." Like her eyes are always a little bit surprised, and she talks so soft but very direct. Like that's like not exactly Rosamund Pike, but that's like her speech pattern. Like
I'll take it.
our parents, they died here.
Okay.
You don't want to remember them?
Also, I'm pretty sure that the two of them are awkward because they slept together.
Yeah, I think
like,
I thought
okay,
they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
right.
But then I think they were like, let's keep it action, not
Well-
sexy.
Well, there's also no explanation of like, because they're like, this is where it happened, didn't it? And I'm like, what? It's
there was like
this whole time.
a rubble collapse, I guess.
something.
That's all I could piece together.
They were
like,
sleeping together in the mines, and because okay, they have this weird what usually isn't two exes that run into each other have no.
Sorry.
Don't do that. They have this weird thing where it
It's
seems
like you again, and then there's hints like, when was the last time you went back there?
Yeah.
It's like 10 years.
right, and usually that kind of thing is only due to like you broke up.
Yeah, and you don't want to see him again.
These two were just like, I don't know, they went their separate ways.
But I
one
also,
became a
like-
scientist like her family, and the other one was like Semper Fi.
Yeah.
And that's it,
You chose that path.
right?
That's also how she talks.
Yeah.
You chose that path.
Right? Chose
I
the
stayed
path of
here.
of
You
the
chose
gorilla.
the easy way out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So, to kick off this movie in 2026, is that correct?
Yes, it starts
Yeah.
at 2026, and they're like, we were digging outside of Mexico. I don't
Yeah.
really remember
Yeah,
where.
well,
New Mexico?
It's
New Mexico.
Yeah, no, it's in Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those deserts, right? But it is definitely Nevada. So in 2026, they found something called the Ark. And the Ark is just a really super fast way to transport from Earth to Mars so that we can make sure that Earth is threatened in this movie in a completely implausible and stupid way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no...
I mean, so if you don't know the video game Doom, basically it's like you're in hell and
okay,
you're shooting.
I need to
things,
ask you
right?
that, too. Like, you played Doom?
No, I was always too afraid. Plus, the graphics were terrifying.
Okay.
Because
I
they're
didn't...
just bad graphics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like it's basically like if you know that Microsoft screensaver where you're going through a maze, like
Yeah.
from Windows 95. It was like playing that, but monsters. And so
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, that's like cheap graphics.
Well, I never played Doom, but they had Star Wars Dark Forces, which was just a Doom clone.
oh.
Like the same kind of like paper thin walls, and you just like literally if your character ran into the wall, you could peek on the other side, but you couldn't like get there. But
you clipped. It's called
Yeah.
clipping.
oh, really?
You clip through a wall.
Damn,
Yeah.
look at you. But no, I never played this. So like this is really interesting in this film. I'm finally understanding what someone in the outside of nerd culture would experience. Like I don't completely understand these references. I don't like I know when a reference exists, but I don't know where it's coming from. And now I
Yeah.
fully understand when you take somebody who's like, I don't understand this nerd shit. I don't understand Star Wars. I fully understand like just making them see one and just being like, I don't get why that's a joke, you know? Because that happens
Yeah.
constantly in this film. I would say like look-wise, style-wise, just everything about it screams Resident Evil.
Yeah, a little bit.
The monsters, the claustrophobic, like industrialized lab,
Yeah.
and then just the shooting.
Yeah, I think that, well, they had to rewrite it so it wasn't in hell because I think they were like, people are going to get upset about that.
It's supposed to be in
Christians.
hell?
Yeah, like the original Doom game is like, there's a guy in hell and his name is Doom Guy. It's really not creative
I
at
mean,
all.
they I guess they didn't have to be
But
back
it's like-
then. What was their competition?
Demons and Satan or something.
What was this and Duke Nukem? That was like the
Yeah,
two, right?
It really, I always thought this was, I got it mixed up with Duke Nukem all the time.
I'm surprised Duke hasn't made it to the screen yet.
I feel like it attempted to.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah, so 2026 they find the portal, and then now it's 20 years past that.
Right. So you're introduced to a whole bunch of like scientists up at Mars and this not unseen monster.
They're all just like running.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a shoe sale.
Yeah.
Get to Macy's.
And the final guy locks himself in
Okay,
one of the
so they're all
rooms.
running, and one girl's like right behind him.
Yeah.
Then she's like, "Whoops, I hit a wall," and then she's like 50 feet behind him.
Well,
and she's
that's
like,
exactly like the game.
Yeah. Was that doctor's name like Dr. Wiltis or whatever his name
Wilcox?
is? Wilton.
I don't know.
Wilton.
Dr.
Something like
Jason
that.
Wilcox.
Yeah. But so she's like, wait, don't close the door, don't close the door. And he's like, too bad. And like her arm gets through, which I was like, this is a pretty shitty automatic door. If it's like response to human is like, chop it off.
Yeah, go harder.
Yeah. Just
Right.
close it. But then she like, you do see her arm like fly up like the monster like got her.
Right.
Which it did.
Oh, it
She
definitely did.
She real did.
Yeah.
And he sends out like a distress signal that's like, lock it down, but also like, lock
Lock it down, but like don't
yeah.
worry about all the other people just living on the thing that don't seem to know or be affected by this at all.
Yeah.
Right? What is that?
So
There's like
it's-
hot women and just people like
Children.
browsing around the arc like it's the mall. Like
Yeah, it was weird.
it was
'cause
way
I was like,
weird.
it's supposed to be like an archaeological and scientific study place.
Right. They're basically
Mars.
yeah, they're digging up like artifacts in Mars and seeing if there's any connection to like humans and or whatever life forms are on the planet. And
Yeah.
this is it's a giant archaeological space station.
Yeah.
Basically.
So they got whole families there.
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
Whole Foods, I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah.
They look like those people. Yeah. So Then
Only red potatoes?
Yeah.
My God, fucking hate Mars.
I hate this place. Everything's red here.
Red peppers? I'm not allowed to cook my meat.
What?
Red meat.
Oh,
Just-
I was like, you can't cut meat. What?
I said cook.
Oh,
but-
cook. Oh, hush.
Do you smell what I'm cooking? No, you can't, because never mind.
The node's locked up.
So the distress signal goes out. You are introduced to The Rock. His name is Sarge, and just immediately it's like, here's his muscular, like, naked body, and right on the back, Semper Fi.
I
You're
know.
like, fucking Marines, here we go, right? And then you're introduced to
Everyone else.
Yeah.
That's kind of stupid.
all like, is this a trope, or are all Marines just like stupid, like, or douchebags, or both?
I think it's just a trope because I don't want to insult everyone.
I know, right? But
I'm just gonna
why
say
is
that.
this trope? So this first half of this movie plays out real
Yeah.
like aliens, like just like it, except you don't have any within this cast of characters that is actually likable.
Yeah, everyone kind of sucks.
Even Carl Urban, you're just like, are you a psychopath?
I thought he
Like
was
that's how
kinda
he
hot, so I forgave
hot.
him.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
can't
I don't
forgive
care. He's
somebody
sexy.
just because they're hot.
I can. Done it before. That's why I slept with my exes.
Bing.
Yeah.
Um,
What kind of shitty ass gun was that?
I don't-
Ping!
It's not the BFG.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
The big friendly giant.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Oh man, got to do that movie one day.
Mm-hmm.
So we're introduced to, and I didn't write their names down, but we'll just go by
All I remember is, like, what,
characteristics.
Damage?
Huh?
What was his name? Damage?
I just know Reaper,
Drainage?
which is Carl Urban,
Yeah.
is Reaper.
New kid.
Damage was the guy with the Gatling
Or
gun.
destruction?
That,
Destroyer.
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 Destruct-
There's something with the D.
Destructo.
Yeah.
It's all
Destroyer.
He-Man names.
Yeah, Destroyer is like the big hunky
Slick
black
hair
guy.
man.
Yeah, right. Then there's Goat. Goat was the religious guy, so
Right.
it's supposed to be funny because it's like the view of the devil is supposed to be a goat or like a human with a goat head and hooved left feet or whatever. So it's like, haha, he's religious, but he's referred to as goat.
I like
the
how you're
devil.
pretending to know this. You just read the trivia.
No, I actually did know that because I've been watching a lot of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina,
Oh.
and they reference the devil a lot.
I got
Plus,
it.
also, I've read books about what is that?
Goats.
Yeah, I love, and their creepy square pupils. Ugh, I hate goats. I love them though. When it, like the ones that just yell. Ah! Just yelling goats. Look it up. I swear it's good.
um,
It was good.
so, and then you have like the kid who is that trope. He's just the fresh-faced rookie, the kid.
He looks
right?
like that meme.
But he's also a drug addict.
Well, no, he's
kind
not a
of.
drug addict.
Is that a reference to some pill that you take in the game to give you a like focus?
I don't
or
know what
something?
that
'Cause he's
was.
like, I gotta get my focus.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, and they never explain it. But
Right.
then there's like one guy that's like obviously like the sleazy trailer park trash kid that
Oh,
like
yeah.
only joined because he had no future.
He looks like a knockoff version of like Mr. Orange from Reservoir Dogs. Who's that actor? You know what I'm talking about?
All I know is Mr.
The British
Pink.
guy. No, that's Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm not talking about Steve Buscemi. I'm talking about the other one from Lie to Me. Did you ever see Lie to Me?
No.
Lie to Me. He was like he knew how to read people's lies by like their ticks and stuff. Yeah, that
He would
guy.
like pull back their hair and find a tick on the back of their head and be like,
I
I know
hate
your
you
lies now.
so much. Tim Roth.
Okay,
That's who I'm
yeah.
talking about. Yeah, he looks like a knockoff version of
Yeah.
Tim Roth, right down to the like slicked hair.
Ugh, I hated it.
Right.
Like balding but slicking it back. Like,
And
oh,
he's
that's
just a
drawing
complete
attention to it.
pervert, like
Yeah.
disgustoid.
What does he say? He's so all of the Marines. They're about to go on vacation, and they never get Marine vacation because they're like a special ops.
It's called
unit.
Leave. Marine
Yeah.
Vacation.
that one was
Going
this
to the
one.
Bahamas.
Marine vacay
Semper
girls.
Fi,
Yeah.
bitch.
But so he's like, I'm gonna lock myself in a hotel room with a bottle of tequila and 3 lady boys and have myself a freaky good
He
time.
said she boys.
She
by the
boys,
way.
that's it, okay.
Which in I guess 2046, there's like a new
I know.
There's
But I
a
was
new
like,
gender. I don't know. It's not lady boys
I was
anymore.
like,
It's
that's kind
she
of
boys.
offensive. Still. Like,
It's still Taiwan.
Yeah.
It's still a thing in Bangkok,
and he'll be doing it.
right? She boys.
Yeah, and so they're all literally about to leave, and then The Rock comes in, and he's like, guess what, men? We gotta go. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, well, they're like pissed, and he's like, "You got a problem with that?" And he's like, "No, I love my job."
Oh,
All
there's two people
sarcastic.
playing baseball with oranges.
Oh yeah,
Which is just annoying. And there's one guy playing a video game from 1986. Like that stupid football game where you
And-
just had to get across
and
the
they have
field.
like a like cardboard standee of a naked girl,
Like
with a
squatting.
catcher's mitt, squatting down.
I was like, for it being 2046, it looks like they're definitely living in 1998.
Oh, it's very the whole movie like down, and because that's what I was gonna ask about. I was like, it's 2046, and everything looks post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
like
Well, it was weird
everything's
'cause it's
just
like-
metal and industrialized.
Why
and-
is that guy playing a video game that looks like it's older?
Yeah, it looks like
then, like-
Defender,
Yeah.
an Atari game, handheld Atari game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like that was in 2005 when they made the movie, so they at least had a Nintendo N64, maybe a GameCube. So it's like
Yeah.
you know that things have progressed.
But maybe,
Why are you
I
giving
mean,
him such an old game? Because the guy's even like, man, the people in this game are crazy. They know what's coming.
but also, I mean, also, if somebody gave me a Game Boy right now, I'll tell you right, I would be
oh
playing
yeah,
it.
I play it too.
Yeah, so like maybe he just had that. Let's
Yeah,
not.
but that's like the worst. That's like all you have to do is get across the field with a football. It was like one of those games.
Oh, it was like a tiger,
Yeah.
handheld tiger game, like the
Yeah.
Little Mermaid.
Like you can only do one
Like
game on that game.
where
Like,
where
it's
basically, or like it was like the Street Fighter, and it was like your character was there, and it had like an up for
Yeah,
his
up
hand,
and-
a down for his hand, and a middle for his hand, and then maybe a kick high, and that was
old.
it.
Or like one of those tiny games you got in a McDonald's Happy Meal,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where it's like just run to the left. Oh.
But so he's playing that. They're all like, but it's all. That's what I meant about like. There's this like, just this very dark, where I'm like, God, is this really our future? Why does all these movies think that this is going to be our future? Is worse.
I blame Blade Runner.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever seen Blade Runner?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
But I did see a thing that was like in the new Blade Runner, they can project holograms on the shitty quality of air they have. That's why there are holograms everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
So I know that.
that's true. That is true. They can also like have physical relations with said holograms. Yeah,
Sexy.
it's fun. It's fun for all. So now they're in somewhere in like Central California, and they take a helicopter to Nevada, and they go underground. There's this like, at first when it came up out of nowhere, I was like, the aliens built an elevator to Mars.
See, I was like, all right, I guess the aliens built the elevator like in the ground to get to the portal.
Right? Well, I guess you could say that maybe due to the Earth's shifting of continents and stuff like that, it used to be above ground.
Yeah, but
Let's
it was
put
a
it that
lot of
way.
feet below ground.
Way
It
below
was
ground.
way down there.
Yeah.
Which I was like, whoa, we were
I-
hiding that.
I went to, there's a lot of stuff like way below ground that's like caverns and stuff though. No, there's a place called Ruby Falls in Tennessee that I went to as a child. It's amazing. It's like,
Just the way you said that, like you just told everyone that there are caves, but no one knows about them. Like, some caves do go underground. It's pretty crazy.
Right?
It's like, thanks, Jonathan.
I've seen The Descent.
I know they're down there.
Yeah. There's
But-
bat creatures down
Yeah,
there. It's
it's
cool.
super far down underground. I don't understand how they knew that it was a portal, but I also don't understand, like, was the technology left there to send them to Mars? Or did they have to create
don't.
technology to be like, hey, if we shock this with a 9-volt, a little weird blob glows, and then our finger disappears in
I
it.
have no idea because like everything. So they go into this room and it's this giant like hall of a room, right? It's just a giant circular room, and dead center in it is
a
like
dot.
yeah, it's just
Oh,
like
the lighting in the scene pissed me off.
this whole room looks like just the waiting area of a themed ride at Universal.
Yeah, it really did.
Right? Which is a Universal movie. So, but yeah, they're all standing there, and they all stand on these like circles of light.
Okay, but the circles of light, like, they should have been, like, equidistance, like encompassing the middle circle, but it's like
Were they
as
not?
no, as you go around, like a few of them off to like the right side, like are cheated in some.
Okay.
So it's like it was like the last thing they're like, shit, can we get some orbs? Can we get some pars in here and just point them down? Yeah, great. And they're like, sorry, I need like 20 more minutes to focus. And they're like, rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Okay. Either way,
they had to return the lift.
yeah, that's true. Either way, there's a dead center in this room, and like basically there's like a circular platform that like over 10 people could like stand on. And dead center in that, there's just a little base or like pod or
plate.
something. Yeah, right. And that, when activated, makes like a bubble as if it's like water in space.
Yeah.
Right. It's just weightless water, and then you step into this.
Jennifer Lawrence in Interstellar. She's in there trying to swim out.
Oh yeah, that part. That's a good part.
It was stressful. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just basically like the liquid metal Terminator, just
Yeah.
floating in air, but just a ball. And then you step inside the bubble, and you immediately
Throw up.
right, yeah,
Immediately throw
the
up.
scene flashes over, and it's everybody throwing up on the other side of the
It's like,
portal in
just
Mars.
Don't eat dinner before you go to Mars.
Well, I just don't understand how they even they never explain how they made this technology. They never explain the arc, even though the intro in the beginning is like scientists are trying to figure out why they made it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how about how they made it?
Yeah.
Right? Because basically you're telling me that, jumping a little bit forward in the movie, that this other civilization that was on Mars decided to make a portal, and are we to think that they had the technology to also travel to Earth to build the other side of the portal?
Oh, good question.
Or were they just like, I'm pretty sure if I activate this and I step inside the bubble. I love that that's their accent.
Bill Cosby? Planet of Bill Cosby.
And you hit the beeps on the boobs.
Well, no, I like, because the whole thing...
And then you end up wind up on Earth.
With the pudding. But it was like, it was supposed to be that, like, they
Yeah, drink
found out...
this drink.
They found out that you could have 24 chromosomes and it would make you super smart.
Right, so
But-
one could assume that they got the technology to be able to figure this out, I guess, and be
Yeah.
able to just map it. So, but you have to have a portal to create something on the other side, is what it looks like to me, right? So, how did that happen?
I don't know. Maybe they sent a rocket ship first.
Maybe. I'll accept that. But there's no even like piece of dialogue to be like, and we also found this spaceship that we definitely didn't create. Right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
They just find skeletons.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Okay, so The Rock and his crew show up.
There's a guy
and-
named Pinky. He's kind of pointless, and I hated him.
Oh, the guy who's half, like, he basically is...
He's the futuristic version
He's-
of
he's-
the villain from Wild Wild West.
Okay, with only 2 wheels?
Yeah.
I was gonna... But he's not a villain.
But still,
I
he
get it.
looks like that.
Yeah, he's
like the
Loveless.
futuristic version of Loveless.
Yeah. No, I was gonna just say that, like, he's, like, in the future, we're like, nobody really likes Segways, so we gotta figure out what to do with them. Well, what if we, like, put them as people's legs for handicapped people?
You guys know wheelchairs? They don't exist anymore.
No, it's just,
We gotta drill directly into their spine
Yeah.
and then mount them to wheels.
yeah. All for what seems to be just another reference that I
To
don't
the video
get,
game, yeah.
Right. For something that will be, once he becomes a monster, there's a monster that has wheels attached to its spine for no reason. I don't know. So, yeah, that guy's pointless and doesn't seem to, like, just because when the really sleazy douchebag guy dies and he sees it on camera, he's like, huh. I'd be like, fuck, something's killing. I don't care if you don't like the guy or not. I'd be like, something's killing him.
Yeah.
That means it'll eventually come for me and freak out.
This guy
Like,
did not care.
This guy didn't
He's
care
like,
about
"Oh."
anything. Right? But I guess that's why his soul was bad. That's
Yeah.
why he turned.
So they
We'll
all
get
they all get to Mars, and then you meet Rosamund Pike. I forget her first name. Is it Sam?
It's Sam. It's
Sam.
Samantha.
Sam, and they're like, "Oh, she hot. She's your ex-girlfriend." And Grimm is like, "Nope, that's my sister."
Right.
But I still fucked her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they've got like awkward family stuff where she's like, "You left us, or you left after it happened." What? Like, now's not the time.
So
Figure it out at a different family reunion.
right, the Marines go into the rest of the facility, which is all scientific, I guess. Like basically all the families or whatever hang out in the one portion, and they show a map, which I'm sure that's the same map as the video game
It
somewhere.
looked like it.
And then they just start going in to investigate what happens. So, at this point, the movie just kind of goes room to room, and they're like checking on things, and it never enters like first person, which you're promised in the trailer. But they're just going, and basically it's establishing some things just like a video game. It's like, here's the gun room. You're gonna need that for a boss battle later.
Yeah.
You know, like here's how this works. Here's how you get into certain rooms, and here's
We're gonna tell you about this pit in the ground, and then
Yes.
someone's gonna be like, "You never did time," and it's like, "What? Do you do time in electrified pits?"
you're right.
Future's terrifying.
There's a pit that's supposed to be a holding cell, and that's where you do time, I guess. Yeah, I didn't get that. I mean, that would be the equivalent to like the hole, you
Yeah.
know, like solitary confinement, I guess. But like
puts the
solitary
lotion on the
confinement at
skin.
Alcatraz.
Oh.
Or out at Alcatraz. I was thinking of the Ark from this movie, Alcatraz. So basically, Rosamund Pike.
She has to download data.
She has
Just
to
to
download
save that.
because basically the Rapid Response Tactical Squad is what they're called. The Marines are called, and they're
RTS.
double RTS. ERTS. Their jobs are to contain and to get the company assets out, so that includes all the data that Samantha has to download. And immediately you're like, yeah, pretty sure there's some shady shit that she's downloading right now.
I mean, there's like a genetics lab. They run into animals in cages. They're like, whoop, that can't be great.
No, as soon as you got animals in cages and genetics, you're like, so there's a monster in here, right?
Yeah.
Like immediately. If I ever walked into a dark like lab, right, and there's monsters in cages, I'd be like, so I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah. Well, this isn't for me.
Like I'm
You
pretty.
know, I think I'm gonna take those vacation days.
Yeah. Semper Fi vacation.
Yeah.
So
They find
While
the
the-
doctor?
while this is happening, brother and sister have been assigned to stay together, right? And this is where we get some exposition. So during Samantha's archaeological dig, she actually found two human skeletons, a woman and holding a baby that were frozen in fear when they, I guess, were killed off, however they were killed off. And that skeleton that she found on Mars is identical to us, except for we have 23 chromosomes. This possesses an extra 24th.
Okay.
Right.
So when I was in high school, freshman year, we were learning about chromosomes, and I was like, ooh, I wonder what happens if you get like an extra chromosome, if it'll make you like super smart
You
or
like
something.
usually just grow a tail.
No, an extra chromosome is Down syndrome.
Oh,
Which is why I was like, what? What's happening?
Oh.
Pretty sure.
Or
Or
is it an extra half of one?
an extra half of one. I think it's like an extension on a chromosome. Which I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, a little
It's
extra.
growth.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wait, nope, that's definitely Down syndrome.
There you go.
So I don't think 24 chromosomes would have gone too well.
Yeah, but I mean,
Because all it did was like
she's like
rapid cell regeneration.
so she's like it could heal, and it'd have an extra intellect and super strength, right? And I'm like, so they're basically X-Men?
Yeah,
They're
I was like,
Wolverine?
it's superpowers.
It's just Wolverine.
It's a stupid way to say they had superpowers.
Yeah.
Like, just say like the gravity on Mars
Yeah,
was different.
It's the X chromosome.
Yeah.
It's the X gene. Okay?
It really is.
Jesus Christ. You guys just ripped off, because that's not even from the game.
Yeah.
Like, you said it was like hell stuff. It has nothing
Yeah.
to do with the splicing
Oh, yeah.
genes and genomes and stuff like that. No. So they took X-Men, which was only 5 years old when it comes to a movie at that point, and was like, yeah, it's the X chromosome.
It's
So they then run into the doctor, right?
Yeah.
The one doctor that we mentioned in the beginning that like closed the door and then like basically just barricaded himself into a room. And they run into him, and this is weird because as soon as they run into him and they corner him, they hit a light switch and the whole hallway just lights up, and I'm like, why were you guys
walking around in the dark before that?
right with flashlights? Is that just a thing? Are you you trying to challenge yourself? Like, what is that?
And he so they start to approach him, and the doctor just rips his ear off.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
All right.
Guess that's there.
Yep. Which I guess it'll make sense later, but in the moment you're just like, all right, that's odd. So as this happens, Goat is with John Grimm, right? And they're walking around investigating things, and this is where Goat says "God damn," and then just
he's like, I said the Lord's name in vain, so I should slice my arm open.
He just slices across into his arm, and this isn't the first time. You can see other scars of like previous times he's sliced himself for committing sins, I guess. I didn't know he was that religious.
Yeah.
And also, like, all you do, because later on in the film, he does, like, the Catholicism symbol.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? What is that? But there's an actual name.
Testicles, wallet, and watch.
Right, but there's a real name for it.
Sign of the cross?
Maybe. I don't know. Clearly, we're so educated on
I know.
these
I don't
things.
know. And I went to a Halloween party last night dressed as Jesus.
That's
It
the
was
best.
a hit. And only one person was like, I don't know, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
Did you have a plate behind you?
Yeah, I did. It was like a Renaissance painting Jesus. It was hilarious.
What's the funniest part is that I think I saw the picture, but you didn't have a beard. You were so you
I
were
was
like
beardless Jesus.
moderate.
I know. It's like, hey, it was hilarious.
You were progressive Jesus. Hey, so like you don't need facial hair if you
Teenage
don't want
Jesus.
it.
Yeah.
Teenage Jesus. It's that gap.
Teenage Jesus.
Is that like Wasteland?
Yeah. Teenage Wasteland. But Teenage Jesus.
Out here in the sand.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
he I
thought it was weird that he would do that when I'm like, well, most Catholics just say like 3 Hail Marys and they're good. You don't have to cut yourself up.
Right.
So
it's just words.
So then, as they're trying to, the doctor that they found with the ear, they're now like taking him to Sam's lab, and then they have to go through this nano wall.
Nano wall.
What the hell is a nano wall?
Nanotechnology.
Right. No, I'm saying it in this way of like I understand.
I don't get why they would
what
have
it was.
a nano wall.
Right.
Excuse me.
God.
Have a door.
Because that's what it is. It's okay. It's literally a door. No, it's a wall and door, right? It's just that is a little hazier to see through.
When it's electrified,
looks like
you
bee's
can,
eyes.
go through it.
Right? It's just octagonal shapes, right? And you can see through it, and you can pass through it. But if somebody turns it on, it immediately just turns solid.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, so just a wall.
And some guy's like, I hate nano doors.
Right. He's like, not me. Not through a nano door.
Like, just go. Also, you'd think that they would have some sort of technology, just like their automatic doors, though. There's nothing that's like, we detect something in here, so we're just going to close. They don't even have that set up. That special feature.
Right. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking, like, it'll only allow certain things to pass through, right? Like, maybe it's, like, to keep the lab... See, that's what I was thinking, that maybe it's, like, to keep the lab safe and, like, sterile,
Like it
sterile?
cleans you.
Yeah, is the fact that like it's not going to allow something that isn't like detected as human.
Yeah.
Or like, so like when a monster tries to pass through, it won't let it. It would like disintegrate them or something. That'd have been way cooler. But that is not what we get here.
Not at all.
It
It's
is
literally just a wall that turns into water and then turns back into rock.
Yeah, and of course people are going to get trapped inside of it.
Yeah.
Stupidly.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because that's another thing. It should just like, I don't know, maybe chop both ends off, but people just get stuck in it like,
Yeah.
oh no!
Well, it does cut his tongue off for some reason.
Yeah.
But then the monster's still alive.
No, it doesn't cut its tongue off. It shoots that tongue out.
Oh.
Because, yeah. All right, we'll get there.
Oh,
So,
I thought it just cut its tongue off.
no, it just like earlier, it shot the tongue out because the
I
tongue
must have missed
Okay.
every tongue shooting.
So, all right. They encounter some monsters in the sewer, all the team. So basically they see one monster and they follow it into the sewer and they go into the sewer. And that's when, Goat, religious guy, gets, basically a tongue out of a monster's mouth, into his throat, like into his jugular.
Yeah, the monster was looking for a good time.
Yeah.
It was like, you into tongues?
Gives him a giant hickey.
Yeah.
And so then, basically, when the monster gets shot at, he detaches its own tongue, and the tongue stays in his neck, plants the infection or whatever into Goat, and then swarms away into the water.
Yeah.
Right. So it does actually release its own tongue, plants.
Weird way to make a baby.
Yeah. Well, it's very Aliens again, another like face hugger type thing, something that isn't, but you would think that thing would be more like there'd be a sequence in this movie where just tongue, attacks you or something, but no.
Like leeches.
Exactly. So as this is happening, they take Goat up to the lab and he dies on the table and he is dead.
Put him in a body bag.
Right. So after this, there's a couple more. They're searching for the monster. It doesn't quite matter.
There's a monkey in a vent, and they're like, bah, but then the monster goes into the sewer.
Yeah, there's a monkey that gets shot to death by the giant, Gatling gun.
Yeah.
And it's the only time that which to me is more impressive than the BFG gun, right? And this is the only time that's used. Like, when that guy, dies by the hand of the monster, that thing is never used.
They, Dr. Wilton?
Willux.
Yeah.
I think that's real.
No, it's not. It's like Wilton or Wilton or something like that.
Okay.
But he disappears. His body vanishes.
Okay.
They pull some blood from him, and it's like chunky blood. Looks really gross.
Right.
Ugh. And there's there's no blood match to it or something. I guess.
There's no blood match to the doctor's original blood.
Yeah.
So
it's like completely taken over his blood.
Completely mutated. Right.
Yes.
She starts performing an autopsy on. They actually brought the monster that they shot in the sewer. They brought that back as well when they were bringing Goat.
Yeah.
And she performs an autopsy on that and sees that not only does it have a bunch of human organs, it also has had its appendix taken out. And it's pretty obvious to all of us but her that we're dealing with actual humans that have mutated. Like, she's still like, I don't understand what's happening. Right?
Not a smart scientist.
Yeah, she's an archaeologist, not a mortician.
She also knows how to slice people up and take organs out.
Yeah, true. So
body archaeology.
Bodyology.
Yeah.
So as this is all happening, this is where it gets very fuzzy for me because
it's like things are locked down and opened up and there's power, but then they delete power to an area for some reason, and then they're trying to look at doors.
And as this happens, Goat,
it's really confusing.
Goat, who was locked in another room, reanimates, does the Catholic cross that we talked about, and then beats his head against a window to kill himself.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait. So the infected reanimate themselves and then have cognitive memories of who they were enough to like do the Catholic cross and then kill
Yeah,
themselves?
because they bring it up. They're like, whenever it's a bit later, but they come back and they're like, what happened to Goat? And they're like, he came back, but he knew what was about to happen, so he killed himself. Because he didn't want the thing to fully take over him. So I guess, like, as it's
seemed
rebooting...
like, as he's doing the cross, it did take over him already.
Well, yeah,
he
he had, like, a
fully
little
infected,
bit of control left.
I guess. It was just really stupid
Yeah.
where you're like, if you're infected and you come back from the dead, it's one thing of like when, spoiler alert, The Rock gets infected at the end, right? And he's fully cognitive the whole time.
Yeah.
It's another thing to die and reanimate.
Well, wasn't Goat more hurt than The Rock?
Well, you
Or
don't.
Goat was more hurt, but was also being changed?
Well, it almost seems like The Rock never died.
Yeah.
Or if he did, he died off screen.
Well, see, what I'm saying is that The Rock wasn't fully, like, he wasn't hurt to a point of near death. He just was like, he got infected. Whereas
Sure.
Goat was hurt to a point of near death with the infection and then died, but then the infection brought him back, just like happened with Grimm, with Reaper. So he died but came back, but because he's a good person.
Oh, God.
You know,
Okay.
the signs of good and evil
Anyway.
right here in this movie.
All right. So, because that's kind of where we are, right? So,
Well, no, because we haven't gone back to Earth yet.
no, about the good and evil,
Oh, yeah.
right? So, as this is happening, Destroyer, right, has a fight in the holding cell where he's taking a computer screen and swinging it around
Yeah.
his head by the cords. And
Also,
I'm like,
it's probably like a 15-foot big circle. And he's like, it's so dark in here, I can't see where that massive 15-foot alien is.
Yeah.
And I was like, pretty sure you don't. And he's like, smacks the computer screen on the wall, being like, Sparks, I can see him now. I was like, you could probably just hear him. Because
Yeah.
he's a monster that's like, like, God, you're a terrible fighter.
can't breathe.
I know. My nose is stuffed up.
Don't get the chromosome. It sucks. But it shows that he's taking a Windows 92 computer, like that kind of monitor, and swinging it around his head. I'm like, those cables will rip out, sir. Like, that's not how that works. But he's using it like a mace,
Yeah.
right? And then he gets the best of the monster for a second, electrocuting it, pinning it up against the wall, tries to climb the chains that are hanging, because all good holding cells
Yeah.
have chains to hang people off of. and then the monster gets control of the electrocution and breaks free, and then pulls the chain and he falls and he dies. That's so
Yeah.
anticlimactic for what might be the best thing we've seen yet in a
Yeah.
fight sequence or a battle of any sort. And then as that's happening, Pinky? The guy with the wheelchair has been tasked the
Yeah.
whole time to guard the door, which is a giant, like, safe looking circle sealed door for the Ark. And he's like, oh my God, like somebody's cutting through. And what sounds like a Dremel just being like,
Yeah.
right? But then when they investigate, that door is at least like 3 feet
Yeah.
thick, right?
And it's like extremely straight cuts of like, and I was like, how'd they get those like like those perfect corners without like cutting past it?
Right?
I was like, they did not think
And
the
then-
science through.
And then basically, so what you're trying to tell me is the monster that we just saw, that just looked like a lurking, hulking beast of no intelligence whatsoever.
Well, this is also when someone was like, man, how'd they figure out how to do that? And they go, well, they were rocket scientists.
but now
which I
they're
was like,
just lurking monsters in the dark,
Now you're making excuses.
eating the heads
Like,
off of rats.
Yeah. I was like, well, you're picking and choosing who's
Yeah.
doing what in this.
Because, alright, so apparently the monster dremeled through the door, right? This 3-foot thick door, and did it in such a fast time because he's like, something's cutting through, and they're like, we'll be right there. And I'm like, it's not that far of a walk.
Yeah.
But he cut through that door in record time, activated the Ark, and took him and Pinky back to Earth.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, he didn't take Pinky. Pinky ran for it. into the
Oh, so maybe
Shoop
Pinky
thing.
activated the arc.
yeah, and
I
then the
guess.
monster got
But
through.
these are the kind of things you need to see instead of being like off camera
Yeah.
on a like comm, being like, oh my god!
We also Pinky witnessed what's his butt dying, but calling for reinforcements.
Yes, so like slickback, dumbass, like douchebag was
Yeah.
like taking a shit, and a monster.
Well, he used the shit as an excuse to do
Right.
like a secret call to call
I think
for
he
like,
was actually taking a shit
reinforcements.
though at the same time.
He seems like that kind of person where it's like
Yeah.
I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone and poop and then call
Need
for reinforcement.
Reinforcement.
I need backup toilet paper. Oh god. Okay.
Situation critical. So, disregard. We're good. Yeah, there's a monster that like goes through the ceiling and pulls him up and is swinging him around the toilet stall. And that's, Pinky does witness that. But
The
that's
first time that The
not
Rock
important.
also gets to use his BFG, big fucking gun.
pretty
And
much
it's
the
like-
only time.
Yeah, it's like a giant, he only uses it one other time.
Yeah.
But it's like a giant, blue lava gun. I guess we'll say.
Sure. So basically, whatever it touches, it just makes a disintegrative hole.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
like,
bloop.
just melts it.
Yeah.
And that'd be cool, but like you're like, oh, that's gonna be the end gun.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Nothing is. Anything that gets introduced in this like second act, like you're like, oh, okay, that's gonna matter. Probably
No.
not.
Yeah.
So,
So,
as this is all going down, and they're like, they did evacuate everybody when they first encountered the first monster in the sewer. So all those people in the mall, we'll say, are gone, right? And they're the only ones left. But now he's like, we're in full quarantine mode. We need to get back to Earth. Grab every gun you have. Meanwhile, as that's happening, Rosamund Pike has been doing like more research with the blood and the specimens that she has, and she has found out. Stop me if I get this wrong, because this is so convoluted. This is so confusing that I don't really know. So she has pretty much found out that the explanation of how everyone died off in Mars is that there seemed to have been a 24th chromosome that like evolved, and then those who were smart and kind and like had a good soul
the good people
just
became
got the benefits
yeah.
of the 24th.
Yeah.
And those who were evil or psychotic or just mean-spirited basically became these mutant monsters.
Yeah.
And then the entire civilization was like, well, shit, we gotta build this ark and get off here.
That part I don't get.
Right?
I don't know their exact timeline, but I don't think the creators thought the timeline through.
Right. But then, even if they did build such ark and tried to get off the planet, they did make it to Earth because there's an ark there.
Yeah.
And then, where are these? They're the goddamn X-Men.
Yeah, right? It's all the X-Men.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
Well,
man.
what
the
superpower
original
people
guy that
does
got off
Universal
was
have?
Magneto and Patrick Stewart.
The original guy that got off. He's like, I'm gonna come.
Well, you know. Oh. Make it so.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. So she figures that out. She's like, here's some
did I get that
brainstem
right,
to prove
though?
you.
Is that
yeah.
pretty much...
It's like
Because it took...
good
I had
people.
to stop it.
Like, okay, so the aliens that are
She
bad.
does say the word a soul.
Yeah,
They
she's
believe
like,
that the 24th
well, we don't
chromosome
know,
was a soul
yeah,
or
with like
something.
the last 10% of the human genome is unmapped, but they believe it could be the soul portion of the human genome. And I was like,
Get
no,
the
it's
fuck
not.
out of here.
I was like, no, shut up.
Yeah, right.
And then, so she uses brain matter to prove it. She's like, look, this tongue that shot itself out. Whenever I bring the brain matter of like a bad person over, like it like lashes and
Has
tries
brain
to
matter
eat it.
lying
Yeah.
around. I mean, there's a lot of it.
And then she's like, well, then the brain matter of the person that it killed, but it didn't like lash with its tongue on its neck.
Yeah.
Because they found out that it goes through its neck. I guess that's the fastest way to get to its brain.
I would
like,
see that. Yeah, that's the artery that runs
it
right
like
up to the brain.
didn't
Sure.
react to it. It was
Right.
like, oh, you were a good person.
That is so goddamn
Yeah.
stupid.
But what's hilarious is Goat was considered a bad person.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, he tried to pray it away.
I mean, yeah, right.
Goes to show you, Mark.
Well, because he did time.
Mm.
For rape.
Yeah. Oh,
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, oh God, I hope not.
Welcome to Mars.
No, he's back.
I'm here. I'm doing time.
Yes.
Gonna die
so,
in here. Real.
This is also though like I don't know where this part lands, but like for some reason they're going around and looking through doors and stuff, and we get like an audio flashback for Reaper.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's kind of his backstory, his and Sam's, where it's like, haha, Sam, I love you, and it's like, haha, I love you, brother John, and they're like, we're playing in rocks.
We're totally not doing
Yeah.
it.
And then the parents are like, we love
Touch
our
me.
kids,
Touch
ha.
me.
Yeah. And then you just hear
Let's
like,
play doctor.
and they're like, oh no, a landslide, Mom, Dad, and then
Right.
someone's like, is this where it happened? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
And that's about like all the backstory you get for their.
That doesn't matter
Yeah.
though.
It-
Why does it matter?
It really doesn't.
No.
Well, they gotta let you know that they definitely weren't fucking by making it seem like they probably were fucking.
Right. So everybody goes back to Earth using the Ark, and immediately when they show up, everybody that was in the Ark's station is just
Why
dead.
are they still at the ARC station?
What do you mean?
Why didn't they leave the ARC station in case, like, hey, what if something accidentally breaks through? Shouldn't we all leave this ARC station and go, like, out to Las Vegas?
Because Sarge, the Rock, actually told Sam, he said, give us 6 hours, keep this down, nobody gets up that elevator.
That's stupid.
He actually said that before they, like, jumped to Mars.
That's stupid.
I know, right? Give us 6 hours to make sure that there's a monster that kills you
Yeah.
all.
I was like, why don't you just, like, put them all upstairs?
Give us 6 hours, but the movie will take an hour 45, and by that
Yeah.
time you'll all be dead. Don't
Right.
worry about it. We need a finale here. So, yeah, they show up and everybody in the room's dead. The room's dark. It looks nothing like it did before. And then The Rock's like, you know what? We're in quarantine mode now. Kill anything that moves, right? And meanwhile, John Grimm and Sam haven't made it to the portal yet because they just figured out they're being like, it only affects bad people. Don't kill everybody, right? But he's like, I'm going to kill anybody, like, and everything, right? Which, honestly, that's not really a bad guy move for me. Like, in this dire situation that we're in,
I thought it was a bit extreme when he shot the person in the neck.
okay, when he shot the guy who basically didn't follow orders,
Yeah.
that's extreme.
And he was
right?
like, well, that's
But-
punishable by death.
Right, but before that, in this situation in which it's like, okay, that's a theory.
Yeah.
You don't actually know that it only affects that. Maybe it's dormant in the Smarties.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'd be like, no, kill them all. We can't go off of theories here. Like,
Well, yeah,
we're trying
but
to
it
protect
also-
the rest of the human race.
To me, it's like there was a whole room of people that were unharmed. They were holding out.
Right.
And he was like, we got to kill them too. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, maybe, but at the
Huh?
same time, think about it. Like, anybody who's below ground
We'll
right
keep
now,
them in that room and then
probably-
be like, we'll come back to you. Don't move, but you are going to be tested and watched
Yeah,
for a period
sure.
of 36 hours.
I don't know. I'm at a point now where I've seen enough movies where it's like, no, you just fucking
Just
kill
stay.
them all. Just kill them all. Like, you just drop a bomb down the
it's like,
elevator
by
shaft.
that standards, Rock should have been like, let's all kill them and then kill ourselves.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh
No,
God, oh
and
God, oh God.
He, like, that probably
So
would
why
have
didn't
been...
they just blow up the entire complex when someone was like, why don't we just blow this entire place up? And he's like, we can't do that.
Right. Well, he said we can't do that because they're here to protect the UAS and their property.
All right.
See, that's the problem. Is like
He's
there were
making
certain
excuses.
things in this movie that were written to answer these questions that we have. Not well,
Yeah, not well at all.
but yes, there were certain lines, and I happen to have caught them right
I did
because
not.
because to me, like I said, it was very much laid out like a video game in the sense of like this is why you have to do this, and this is your mission should you choose to accept
Yeah.
it, you know? So it turns out that the things that Sam was downloading also were files that showed the experimentation that the scientists that all from the beginning of the movie were now running away from something unseen were doing on they were doing human testing on. They injected the 24th chromosome into the first human, and then all hell broke loose. And that's what that holding cell was for as well, right? But they happened to inject it into a guy who looked like he straight up was a criminal.
Yeah, I was like, they injected it into like an actual mass murderer. They were like, let's pick the worst villain
It looked
and
like
then
Vin
make him
Diesel.
worse. Yeah.
And
I was like, probably not your best. Next time, go for like
who was
a
offered
skinny
this,
nerd.
who was offered a part in this movie,
Aw.
turned it down.
He was
So
like,
did-
no, I got to do triple X.
I know, right?
No, Chronicles of Riddick needs me.
Well, that's the weird part. If we're talking about roles offered, this was originally pitched in '99, and Schwarzenegger was offered the role of Doom Guy. And then, due to an incident where some kids actually played with a chainsaw to recreate Doom, this movie was put on hold for another 6 years.
Yes.
And in that time, Schwarzenegger passed. And then also...
No, he didn't die. He just passed on the opportunity. Just to
No,
clear
he'll
that up
never
for everyone.
die.
Jonathan does not think that he died in 2005
No.
or whatever.
Well,
Schwarzenegger
you know-
passed on the roll. He passed on the roll.
Well, he did die in 2005 as he went into the government.
Yeah.
So, no, and then Rosamund Pike turned down a role in Harry Potter.
Mhm.
And
It wasn't a big role. It was just like the news reporter in Harry Potter.
Hey, that would have been better than
Rita
this
Skeeter.
movie.
Rita Skeeter.
Hey, well, yeah,
Skeeton.
Skeeton. So then...
And to be in Pride and Prejudice, though. So, like, opportunity right there.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't either, so.
Right? I actually saw Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Well,
that
someone
was,
had
that
to,
was
I
horrible.
guess. Yeah. That'll
Um,
be coming up next month.
Yeah, right.
God.
So, as this happens, then Pinky comes out of nowhere, like rolls out of nowhere, like, "Hey, don't shoot me!" And
He's
they're
like playing dead among the bodies.
Right.
Which I was like, okay, so these are like super intense alien zombie things, but they can't be like, well, that one's dead for sure because he's laying there too. It's like, no,
right. So
he's not actually dead. How can you not tell that he's not dead?
right. So also at this point, this is weird because the monster comes up, right, and now it seems like it's double the size it usually was.
Is this the Hell Knight?
Huh?
It's, I don't know, it's just one of the things from this video game. It's like, everyone, oh my god, the Hell Knight.
I guess, right? But this thing palms Pinky's head and then like, just bashes him against the wall.
It's like what he was doing with the
ground.
computer screen earlier.
It's like what the Hulk does to Loki in the first Avengers. It's just like bam, 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 right?
It's kind of a good scene.
Oh,
was
I
like,
loved
beat
it.
him
I
up, beat
enjoyed
him up.
it. I was like, yes. And then after this, a bunch of infected are coming at them, and they try to go through another nano door, and
But the nano door is like malfunctioning.
yeah,
Like, oh,
so
no.
like, it's
and like
him.
our last surviving black guy's like, I'm gonna stand on this grate back here and be a-okay. But then like a monster reaches up and like starts slicing him through it.
And they kind of, him and Sam have like a moment being like, oh no, I was supposed to survive and fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's like, oh no.
I haven't had black dick before.
Right?
That was my opportunity.
And he's just like, damn.
Yeah.
And it just gets like sliced up by the grate
Yeah.
and pulled down the rest of the way. The Rock is, then he's through the nano door, but some of the monsters like grab his ankles and pull him back. And he's like, I wasn't supposed to die, right? And then
He's
the
like,
nano door, like, doesn't close on him. He gets sucked,
Yeah.
pulled back by the creatures. And then the nano door shuts. But right in time because John Grimm is firing
Yeah.
into the
horde.
the nano door that's off. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
Well,
right?
it was glitching.
Right.
It was like doing weird pulsy thingies.
Right.
And then he like shoots at it and the door's like, no, I'm fine. And the bullet ricochets off and like hits him in the spleen, I guess.
Right. And so as he's dying, Sam is like, I'm going to inject you with the 24th chromosome
He's
so you
like,
can heal.
You don't know me, Sam. I've done bad things. And she's like, I do know you.
Don't
You're
put
my
that shit in
brother."
me!
Yeah. You're my brother. I know you. You're good.
Right?
You're a good person.
He's like, take
He's
this
like-
gun if things go bad. She's like, I won't have to. Right?
And then she survives some 10-minute sequence of walking through a hallway somehow with
I
just
don't-
a twisted ankle. Okay, so he passes out for a second and comes back to life, and he's now got like first-person shooter.
Right. So
Vision.
the movie then
Which is
turns
just-
into first-person shooter.
Ugh.
And anybody who's seen like Hardcore Henry would relate to being like, okay, this is what we're in for. It was fun. It's a very fun sequence for me. What?
It was whiplash, visual whiplash. I was like, ow, stop turning corners. Like, it hurt to watch.
I mean, it was.
Didn't make me nauseous, but it was
felt
unsettling.
like if you've
It was
ever done like
uncomfortable.
The Void at Downtown Disney, it felt like VR a little bit.
Okay.
In that sense, like the graphics were real, like it was real filmed. It wasn't like it was like computer animation. Even the monsters looked kind of real.
They looked good.
Not the half human like kind of zombie looking
Yeah.
ones, but the monsters still looked pretty good, right? But I can see what you're saying. Like the gun had that very first person shooter like weightlessness to it. It kind of just floats.
Bounced.
Yeah, it has that woo, like it's weightless like on the moon.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's a fun sequence. It
For
feels like it
some.
takes forever to get to this payoff.
Yeah, well, it's like, I'm going to make a right. I'm going to make a left. I'm going to make another right. I'm going to make another right. I'm going to make a left. I'm going to go up some stairs. I'm going to go down some stairs. Oops, I got pushed off this platform. I'm going to make a right. I'm going to make a left.
Well,
and
what-
then he, like, turns a corner, and it's like, oh, there's the rock. Back to normal vision.
In the movie's defense, though, like what you described is like any first-person shooter ever. I'm gonna go right. I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna go up some stairs.
Well,
I'm gonna
early
push this
FPS,
activation
yeah.
button.
Yeah.
Like even current is the same with a little bit of dialogue sprinkled
No,
in
they
now.
got, like, twists and turns and, like, platforms and levels and, like, different things.
You
got to
are-
play the right FPS.
You are way too much into the Switch now because they don't do that shit anymore. Like, no, they're the same. I've
No,
played.
this is from
I
a
played Call of Duty.
2004,
I
like,
played,
video game.
Like they're the same. It's just like go up, go right. Like, I mean, I understand that now you have.
You got to play Metroid Prime, man. That series is...
That's different. But that's very puzzly too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's a first-person shooter.
But we're talking about first-person shooters that are like Doom.
Yeah.
So like that's still happening in the Battlefield series.
Yeah.
That's still happening in Call of Duty. It's
God.
It's the same. You
They
were
are
talking
not
about.
trying.
That's what I said. Where I was like, you got to get off the Nintendo bandwagon.
I gotta stop playing good video games.
Right.
Sorry.
And then you would realize that like it's no different. Like
Ugh, that sounds terrible.
everything's hallways and
I'm glad I was never a straight
labyrinth-esque.
man.
Yeah. Like it's the same.
I gotta play Halo again.
Yeah, that's the same too. I mean, Halo has some like big sprawling
Yeah.
open sections, but there's many a times where you're in a building and it's right, left, right, up, down,
so
down some
boring.
stairs, back up some stairs. You know, like that happens all the time.
Still very boring.
Yeah. So I must say that experiencing those, I was like, this is spot on, and we're good, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's what I as a gamer wanted, I got it in that moment.
Yeah.
The sequence itself took 14 days to shoot, apparently. But
Well, it's also like nothing really happened in the sequence. It was just like, we gotta include something first person to
No,
make
it
people
was
be
like-
like, it's a video game.
you know what it felt like? House of the Dead.
Yeah, it
Right?
did kind of feel like House of the Dead. But see, House of the Dead is fun.
Yeah, but
Where it's like,
House of the Dead exactly that, where
yeah.
it's like it's on rails and it's like right, left, reload.
Yeah.
You know,
Reload!
reload,
It's like, shoot
reload.
off the screen.
I-
Shoot off the screen.
I've been doing that. The gun's broken.
I'm trying to shoot off screen!
Why is the trigger so flimsy?
Why did they put this thing in a box now?
Yeah.
10 times scarier. There are curtains next to me.
I don't like 5D. You might.
I like 5Ds.
Yeah, there it is.
Ah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so he eventually gets to the rock, and then you see Rosamund Pike, Sam. She's like,
asleep.
yeah, it looks like she did the hiding thing too. He's like, you think you can get to the elevator? And she's like, yeah, no, I was just napping. Why? Like, and she like crawls away. Like, I don't understand how she got like so far away during that sequence from like where he is.
Yeah, because
Like-
you got lost in the first-person shooter thing. Like,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know where he
confusing.
went.
So-
Apparently, he went nowhere because he's back on the same floor in the same area.
So then, the rock's there, and like, Reaper's like pointing his gun at him, and he's like, "How much you got left?" And he's like, "Half a clip." And he's like, "You?" He's like, one round, and then they're like, "Choo-choo-choo-choo," and they like both miss each other.
Right.
So they both don't have guns anymore.
Right. Now, The Rock has been infected.
Yeah.
And
With
this
some
is where
sick
it's like,
beats.
I don't understand.
Sorry.
I don't understand why they're fighting, really. Because I thought The Rock, like, 10 minutes prior was like, everybody must go. We must protect the human race, right?
Yeah.
So if he's cognitive right now, because he's talking and he's basically preserving
It's
his own
alien
life,
brain.
right? But this is that confusing thing again that I was talking about, where
Well-
it's like one guy decides to kill himself, but the other one is like, no, I must preserve my own life. Like,
Do you think you'd get the smarts, or do you think you'd get the alien death, zombie death?
ooh.
I don't know.
I
about
haven't.
Me.
I mean, neither one of us. Like, it seemed like because she said psychopaths. She used that word. You
Yeah,
know?
but that was a
we're
lot
not
of extreme.
psychopaths.
Mm,
You're not a psychopath. It's okay. You're not.
We'll see.
It's not.
we'll see.
I mean, what's the worst thing you've ever done?
Well, I did kill a guy, but
Okay. Well,
he
you know,
deserved it.
There it is. Exactly.
He died, so it's fine.
Yeah.
He's not gonna tell anyone.
No, we wouldn't. But I feel like because there's something that they didn't mention, because there's these like
I
very
feel like there has
subtle.
to be a third option where it's like nothing happened.
Well, this is yeah. Well, there's these right. That's Down syndrome.
I
You
get the
just-
gene, and I'm
you
like,
just-
oh no. That's bad. That's offensive.
No, it works. It's fine.
That was a good transition, though. That was like,
That was good. It was like somebody slowed the record player down. No, I mean, if people find that offensive, they are not going to be happy about Mac and Me.
oh yeah, Mac and me. Oh god.
So, to finish this up, The Rock and Dr. Bones,
Keith Urban.
thank you, have
Carl Urban.
right?
Just because I think it'd be hilarious to have like country singer fighting alien demons, Keith Urban. He's pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
The Rock and him have a fight in which what I think should have been the tagline happens. Semper Fi, motherfucker.
He says Semper Fi, bitch.
No, he says motherfucker.
Oh, he does say motherfucker?
Yeah, you did, bitch.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I still made it better.
Yeah, there's no way The Rock would say bitch like you said. Bitch.
Oh, he would say, well, not like the way I said it, but he'd be like, Semper Fi, bitch. Like, he'd get
that's
very
still,
butch, like,
I'm sorry.
Semper Fi, bitch.
There's no way to
Yeah.
make butch that up.
you
That's
could.
why I was like, I knew it was motherfucker.
Dear The Rock, please help me out. Say Semper Fi, bitch for me.
That's what he
also
says at the
has-
end of every "Do you smell what the Rock is
Yeah.
cooking?" episode.
Doesn't he also have another line within like the same sequence where it's like, God, stop trying to do one-liners in this film?
No, I think that's about it for that one.
Okay.
I don't know, because I didn't write anything else down.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I usually
One round.
write those down.
Big fucking gun.
Yeah, right. Because it's called the BFG. That was the joke in Doom, the game itself. I think.
know.
I want to say like I don't know much about that game, but that I know.
I just
Like-
know it's like it's classic status stuff, like why it is known and
Right.
held up to what it is.
So they fight. The Rock decides to wrap a piece of metal around one of his hands.
Yeah.
As I guess like
Like
brass
he's trying
knuckles
to get, like-
would be.
Like spring arms, like the way he raps, it looks like it's not doing like like some stupid Inspector Gadget hand.
Oh man. And then I don't know. One of the piece of metal around his hand gets bent into like kind of a spiked position, like just a
Like Wolverine.
yeah, but with one claw, like he's
Yeah.
giving the middle finger, and he stabs Carl Urban in the hand as he tries to put up his hand, and then
The computer's like, by the way, the elevator's back on to Mars.
yeah, yeah.
Like the elevator just goes like, oh, okay,
well, you mean
sure.
the
To
arc,
trans-
not
yeah,
the elevator.
arc. Well,
The
I-
elevator's just
yeah.
to get down to the arc.
Well, I still consider that an elevator from Earth to Mars. But the computer,
that was
yeah,
their
the computer's
first
like,
attempt.
arc's back up.
That-
You guys need anything?
That was the third option. People's
Yeah.
Look, we made an elevator. Yeah, that's not gonna work, guys.
It's just a bunch of sticks. It's so bad.
right?
That's bad.
I like to imagine that was the evolution portion of everything. It's just like that didn't happen for them. So
she was holding her baby.
right.
Yeah. So the teleporter comes back on, and it's like sucking the Rock in, but like halfway through.
Well, it only sucks him in because he like kind of like throws him into it. Oh, by the way, because he got the 24th chromosome, he's able to like put up a fight against the Rock.
Yeah.
So he was able to swing him into the bubble.
And the Rock is like transforming. He's like, now my teeth are scary, and I've got yellow eyes. And it's
Right.
like, great job, you're jaundice. Go see a dentist.
And
Your
then,
liver's failing.
And then at the last minute, because he was still like the piece of wire wrapped around the Rock's hand is still stabbed into Karl Urban's hand. I guess he just is like, I'm gonna
rips his hand
rip
out.
my hand out, and then he's gonna get sucked in. The Rock gets sucked back to Mars, and then Karl Urban ignites a like flash grenade, some kind of like
detonator bomb or
Yeah.
something. It's like a big bomb.
throws that into the bubble, and apparently that's like a kill-all kind of bomb,
Yeah.
right? Which is probably something from the game, right? Just kills everything, every NPC in the
I
screen,
guess.
right? Probably,
Mm.
right? Some big flash evaporation bomb. Throws it into the bubble as well. That comes out the other side, right on top of the Rock, just in time to blow up. Boom. That's good. And then Karl Urban grabs his sister and like holds her in his arms as they go up the elevator in a very like you just saved your lover moment.
Yeah.
like come on,
It's like, oh.
right? As it's the two of them and she's just lying on his shoulder, passed out and asleep, and end credits.
Not even like a post-credit sequence
Nope.
too of like, but this survived.
No, just a really bad CGI, like
Yeah.
pre-rendered version of the first-person thing we already saw. Like that was the original thing.
That was their first
You
try,
know,
and then they're like, shit, we have
in
to
which
film it.
the shooter shoots everybody's like credit except for the two people that survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's a movie.
Yup.
Where would you recommend this?
If you're super bored,
This is a hangover movie.
yeah, this is a hangover movie.
Yep.
Especially if like you're with friends and you're like, we're all hungover, but like whatever, it's noise and we can eat food and then probably sleep and then wake up whenever there's guns and be like, what's happening? I don't know, and then go back to sleep.
Yep. Or
It
for
is
me,
definitely.
or
We
for
haven't
me,
had a
it's
hangover
just
movie
a
in a while.
yeah. For me, it's just a like I turn this on to go to bed movie.
Yeah.
And then I'll wake up just like you said with noise, like oh god, I forgot to turn this off.
Ah,
I'll just keep it going.
yeah. So maybe like a Jaws 2.
Jaws 2? Okay. I mean, it was filmed like anything in the 2000s,
Yeah.
really. There wasn't anything special about it, but it wasn't laughably bad, right? But it wasn't like substantially good or anything
And the
either.
extremely bad
Jaws
thing
2
about
is
it
good.
is that people were like, Doom, awesome, but then they're like, that's not Doom.
Right. So this movie, I think, falls under the same thing as
Son of the Mask.
no, I said this about I've been telling people I'm finally putting it's still spoiler free for those out there listening. How I felt about the Venom movie. Right?
Oh.
Okay? The Venom movie I compared to the Spawn movie of the 90s where everybody wanted it and then when they got it they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh god damn it. God damn it." Right? Cuz that's Spawn, Venom and this. Everybody's just like, "Oh hell yeah." Right? And then was just like
Ah.
no, they ruined it. That's how I feel like.
That's probably how they all sounded too.
God damn it! I don't even want to see the end credits. That's how it was. Oh fuck
So
you, Woody
pissed.
Harrelson. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
spoiler. Sorry.
Heh.
I don't even want Carnage. I want Spider-Man.
Oh,
That's how
Spider-Man.
Venom
No
went
one
down
gets
for
Spider-Man.
I feel like that's how Venom went down for most people. Though
Yeah.
It's like, there's no Venom without Spider-Man.
So
Which
angry
actually
about
how
it.
I felt though.
I really
Like,
just want to see Venom just to see Jenny Slate because I love her so much.
Jenny Slate, she was a fun part. Yeah. So, yep, Jaws 2 on that one. And then, I mean, we seem to have a okay opinion about this movie, but there's some people who felt compelled enough to write a raving review.
An internet review.
So we decided we decided to look those up and ask those people to give us 5. Here's Gimme 5 for Doom. These are 5-star or 10-star reviews. They've come from Amazon or IMDb. So this first one was written in 2006 in January, so a couple months after the movie was out. Written by Koofontings.
I don't know.
Hey, Koofontings. I fonted.
Fontings.
Titled 10 stars. This movie is the best game made a movie I've ever seen. You are about to torture me, aren't you? Like, I can't. Like, already the title, like,
They're
was
just
missing.
fun.
In Ive, the E
Yeah.
was missing. And, okay.
Eve.
So, here we go. This is my very first comment on IMDb, because a lot of other comments are usually from people who think they are so damn good and could judge everyone's acting. Get a grip, guys. Just because you can say how bad the acting was doesn't make you look clever. But he spelled it cleaver. Anyway, on topic, I loved this movie, especially the first-person view. Unless you're a game who does like all of Doom's releases, then there is no point in watching this movie. That was exactly how it was written.
Oh, we know.
It's as if you're translating a joke word by word.
This guy like tries to explain something, but like doesn't fully explain what he is trying to explain. Which is why I love this review.
Let me try to back up. Unless you are a game who does like all of Doom's releases, then there is no point in watching this movie. I think he meant gamer.
Yeah.
Who plays all of Doom's releases. Okay? He goes on to say, it's as if you are translating a joke word by word. It's not going to be funny because a Brit will not understand the punchline that the French will.
Okay.
Moving on. Same here.
Yep.
You have to watch the movie from another perspective, not the one where you sit down and judge a movie, trying to notice every single goof the actor did. So, it's like he's talking directly to us. Goes on to finish, instead, you should watch this movie as if it's a movie made about you.
What?
Which brings me back to my original point, that if you're not a fan of the game, there is no reason to watch this movie.
But fans of the game were like, no.
Also 10 stars on that.
But also, it's a movie about you. Who is remotely related to this movie?
I will have you know that there was a very small point in my life in which I was just going into bubble portals and just seeing what happens.
My legs were ending up in one universe. Now I was going to Mars.
Oh my god, we didn't even
Yeah.
take on that.
Oh, Pinky.
That was so stupid.
I know.
With what we're referencing is there is a one line that Pinky, the handicap guy with we'll just call him Wheels, right, explains actually how he got wheels, which is when they were first experimenting with the Ark, his legs wound up in one dimension and he wound up in another. Kind of like Mel Brooks in Spaceballs, where his head's on backwards. Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was so big? Moving on, because there's 2 other reviews here, and I'm trusting they're equally as good.
Mm-hmm.
This one was written July 2006, so a couple months after the movie came out again, by a Saki Heath. Just titled Doom. I saw this movie twice at the cinemas. I thought it was a very good and exciting movie to watch. I was surprised on how they made it in the first-person shooter and how they thought of how to put this movie together. When I looked in the newspaper, I saw a documentary of Doom. It said Doom has made over $2.5 million in cash, and I thought this movie is pretty famous. My brother bought this movie off eBay. He didn't really like it, but he doesn't know anything about movies. My type of movies would be action, horror, and adventure, something like Doom. I watched this movie this morning, and it's just unbelievably well. The first time Doom came out in October 27, 2005, there was a line of people lining up outside the cinemas. I thought they were going to see something else, but let me tell you something. They were going to see Doom. 5 stars.
I thought they were going to see something else, but they were going to see Doom.
Part of me, because like, I
He
feel like
was the
some
third
of the
option.
some of the comedy here gets lost in the translation that I'm trying, like, that I'm not doing, right? Where there is a thought process here. It's not good,
I
but right?
think it was a stoner writing that review.
Yeah, because there's these points in here where it's like, I saw a documentary of Doom in the newspaper,
Which I was like, not where documentaries live at all. He definitely was high. Saw a documentary on the newspaper. It made $2.5 million.
But then his brother bought the movie off eBay. Also, not your first choice
during
to
the time
pick
of eBay.
new movies.
Yeah.
Because this was written a year after the movie came out. So, like,
It would have been
you
fresh
could just
on
go
DVD.
to any
Yeah.
store.
It's probably someone being like, these are movies I don't like. Here's a pack of 10.
His brother, who doesn't like movies, was like, I'm paying $2 for it tops. And then goes on to finish with the fact that, like, he was there the day that Doom came out, and he was in a line of people and actually thought they were in line for another movie. So even himself, who showed up day one, so excited about this movie, was like, there's no way this is for Doom.
People will not like this.
Right? Yeah, and I wish he had written his perspective of how that line of people felt after.
Yeah. I also love that so many people are like, oh my god, the first person shooter scene. And it's like, that was like a 5-second scene. Kind of not done the
Well,
best.
that's what they
but-
wanted.
Yeah.
This movie probably would have done better if it was a whole first person thing. Like I said,
Yeah.
Hardcore Henry. If anybody hasn't seen Hardcore Henry and doesn't mind a first person, like, 90 minutes worth of thing, it's actually a very fun, entertaining movie that really doesn't let down, doesn't stop going the whole time. It's on Netflix right now. I totally recommend it. It plays like a video game, but on purpose. Like,
Oh.
from start to finish, it's like, here's your HUD, and here's your and I'm your friendly guy who's gonna explain everything that's going on in this movie. And it's like, it's really well done, I think. And I can't even imagine how they kind of put it together.
Yeah.
Like, especially because they're saying that this took 14 days to shoot that,
Jeez.
like, 10-minute sequence tops?
If that.
Yeah. So the last one comes from Nora Pantha. No repeat of hell. Sorry.
Nora Panther. Nope. No repeat of hell.
Nora Pantheon. Written December 2005, so very close to when it came out. Titled Fantastic! With 3 exclamation marks. So my sister got to see the movie first.
All right. Why isn't she writing her review?
Well, she said not to get my hopes up. How not? I'd been gaming for 10 years, and Doom was my most played game. So anyway, got to see it. Amazing. It was so well thought out to me. How the pinky dude turns into a pinky. Most of the time I was wondering at the start, where's the CG? It's from a video game, you idiots. But then I realized it was very good without it. The Hell Knights would have looked pretty stupid if they were CG. After all, they are human. To an extent. You have to watch this film. It is the greatest! Even if you haven't played the game, you're gonna love this. The Hell Knights are the best to me, too. Lizzie. I guess that's the real name.
Right. All right.
Cool. I mean, that's a gamer fan. That's a, like,
Yeah.
I got.
See, I thought they
I
were
got
calling
it.
out their sister at the end. They
Yeah.
were like, Lizzie.
It
it.
does have 4 exclamation
Yeah.
marks. Lizzie! You fucking bitch!
You saw it first and made me think it was going to be bad.
You said not to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
Hopes were high, and they were
Mighty.
delivered upon. So So that just about does it for us here for this movie, for Doom. If you enjoyed this or any of our other shows, please give us a review on iTunes. Rate, review, subscribe if this is your first time. And if you are not following us on Instagram, social medias such as Facebook and Twitter, you can follow all of us all at the same handle, at Bombs Away Show. If you had an opinion about this film or you think that we missed something that you'd like us to cover in a Shorties episode, you can write to us, contact@bombsawayshow.com. Other than that, please make sure you join us. I think, we mentioned in the Shorties, November 30th, any of you Southern California people or anybody who's been to a previous live show, our next live show is the 30th anniversary of Mac and Me. And I tell you what, guys, if you pre-order right now on the Frida's website, you will get a free Happy Meal. That Happy Meal will include a completely Mac and Me designed Happy Meal box. It will have a cheeseburger. Sorry, vegans, I don't have any other options, but neither did McDonald's back then.
Or now. Really.
No, they have some, apparently, some, just, here, you can just have the apple slices. No, I don't know.
I was like, I wouldn't put it past
But it'll come with a cheeseburger. I'm trying to figure out French fries right now. I can't promise French fries, but at least have a cheeseburger, Skittles, and it will come with a Mac and Me exclusive prize in there, and that's only for people that pre-order. If you don't pre-order, there will be some available for purchase, but if you pre-order, then you will get this exclusive prize package. It will also have some little freebies in there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have our next drinking game ready for those people as well. There'll also be Coca-Cola slushies, alcoholic Coca-Cola slushies, and a whole McDonald's birthday party themed event. All for $15 right here at the Frida Cinema, www.thefridacinema.org/events/bombsawaylive. That's www.thefridacinema.org/events/bombsawaylive. Join us November 30th. It's a Friday this time, so you can drink and not have to worry about going to work for most of you. Come, join us. We want to try to get as close as possible as selling out on this one, because this is a big anniversary date for this movie. Probably one of the worst movies of all time. If anybody has ever seen Conan O'Brien, and when Paul Rudd goes on, you'll know that this scene, there's a scene from the movie that is famously shown every single time in place of the clip that Paul Rudd's supposed to play for whatever movie he's supposed to be plugging. Mm-hmm. So if you're familiar with that, you get to watch the rest of the 90 minutes of this crazy-ass family movie. So all that for $15. Join us November 30th at the Frida Cinema. Got anything to plug?
Nope.
No, I
never do.
So. Yeah, well, you do.
All right, calm down.
I know. You already made that joke.
It's my hole.
Yeah. That just about does it for us. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jarrett.
And Semper Fi, motherfucker.
Hey everyone, this is Jarrett with Bombs Away Podcast. I'm here at the Frida Cinema, once again recording for your all's pleasure. Frida Cinema, that sounds pretty familiar. Oh yeah, it's because we bring it up so much. It's where we live, it's where we record. Now, you may know of the Frida Cinema, but you may not know enough about the Frida Cinema. So the Frida Cinema is a program of the Long Beach Cinematique, and it's located in Santa Ana in Southern California. It services neighboring communities as a non-profit art house cinema, dedicated to educating, connecting, and enriching communities through the art of cinema, which is a pretty amazing experience. But how do they do that? Well, one of the ways they do that is with shadow casting. So shadow casting, if you don't know, is whenever they have a cast below the screen acting out the movie as the film is projected behind them. which is pretty neat, but that's not all. They also get audience participation, so you feel like you're part of the film, that you have that amazing, enriching experience. Some of the films that we do Shadowcast with are Little Shop of Horrors, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Repo the Genetic Opera, and The Forbidden Zone. When was the last time you heard of The Forbidden Zone? Am I right, ladies? Other things that we do, if you're not into Shadowcast, but you love that audience participation, are special events. We've done Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and it was a lights and sound spectacular, and there were also words along the bottom of the screen that helped you know when to participate in the film. And maybe you just want to watch a film, which is okay, because the Frida Cinema does show films. But maybe you want to watch a film in a different atmosphere. Well, the Frida Cinema has rooftop showings. Some of the films that have shown on our rooftop are the most recent Beauty and the Beast, or Ghostbusters, and Jurassic Park. One of the cool things that happened with Ghostbusters and Jurassic Park is we actually had guests. For instance, Jurassic Park had the guest of the Jeep Wrangler, you know, that nice tan and red Jeep that we see just driving all around that park. It's an amazing photo opportunity, and it's something you get to brag about to your friends and post on that Instagram. If you want more information about the showtimes, location, and everything film and entertainment related to the Frida Cinema, just go to www.thefridacinema.org. You can also follow on Facebook at facebook.com/thefridacinema and on Instagram and Twitter at thefridacinema. The Frida Cinema, for the filmmakers, the film goers, and for you.
This has been a production of Big Bulb Entertainment, executive produced by Jonathan Young. For more media and information, visit us at www.bigbulbentertainment.com. Big Bulb, what's your bright idea?